So, the topic that we're going to be talking about today is one of the forms of attack that women have that is most utilized by them. And it has a whole bunch of different lanes under it as far as sub lanes and things of that nature. But before we get to that, I'm going to preface this whole thing with this. If you have conflict with a man, what is the biggest worry as far as having conflict man to man with another man? And the answer to that is a physical threat. A physical threat to where you could really be harmed or you have to really harm them. Attack and defense. So that is the biggest threat. When you look at a man to a woman, it is frowned upon to have, domestic, disputes that lead to physical anything on both sides. So that's not something that should be happening. It's frowned upon universally. As where on the other end with the man to man, that's something that is far more accepted in most societies, if we're just going to be honest. So getting past that, when we talk about man to woman, if you were having a conflict with a woman, yes, it can get physical, but what is the biggest threat? One of the biggest threats is going to be her non-physical attacks. And with that, we are going to get into one of the biggest things that they do. And what I always say, this is a phrase that I have, women specialize in this. It's reputation destruction. Let me say it again. Reputation destruction. Is it possible for a man to do things to destroy your reputation? Yes. But typically, in most situations, if you have a conflict with another man or you and another man are at odds, even if you are friends, that's typically not the route that most men go. When you are dealing with a woman, there's a different dynamic. Most of them know they can't out physical you, and even then they don't have the desire to do that, most of them. But reputation destruction is something that women specialize in. That's just what it is. It's not like they got a handbook. It's not like it's innate. They have seen it throughout society and you have to, from when they were kids all the way to the age that they are now, whatever that is. And what they have seen is it is almost always effective. So we are going to break this down just a little bit. Now, the thing I want to get into before I even get into man versus woman on this type of thing is even when women are dealing with other women, this is what they specialize in. This is what they do. They know the physical threat and all that stuff is there. And they go, listen, they will destroy each other's reputation. Again, this whole thing, this whole idea as far as, women specialize in reputation destruction and stuff like that. This is something I've always known. Well, I'm not going to say always know, but I've said this a long time. But this was inspired by a few quarrels as far as social media beef that I've seen. And I'm going to mention some of the tactics and things in a moment is when I get to the dudes. But this is the truth. I've seen women hate each other so much, be at odds so much. They can't wait to see each other. But this is the thing. They can't keep their issues to themselves. They got to go to social media with it. They got to go to social media and beef and let it all play out on social media. Social media is a war of words. So, of course, the threats are there. They're threatening to beat each other up. They're doing all this. But what it gets into is the slander. And they begin to slander each other and say, wasn't you homeless? Don't you do crack? Da, 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 da. And it gets to the point where it's kind of like, hate to mention this, but the Kendrick and Drake battle. It's like, what is the most character damaging thing that I can say. And one of the things that I have seen twice in less than 5 weeks, in less than 5 weeks, is two women have STDs put on their name. Don't this chick got this? Don't this chick got that? They don't even care if it's true. They just go and put that out there because they know this will pretty much damage this woman's reputation. One went out and got a test, and they put the test results online, and that shut that down. But that caused an inconvenience to her to have to go and get that test knowing she doesn't have what she was being accused of having. And even then, when you look at that, nobody goes back and says, well, bitch, you lying. We can't believe nothing you, like to the other woman who made the accusations. We can't believe nothing you say now. You should be ashamed. It's really of no consequence to the woman who lied. That's what it is. So when you look at that, these dynamics even play out woman against woman. And it's nasty. It's really nasty. Guess what? I have never seen guys get in an argument online and then put out some information like that. Like, don't you got, et cetera, et cetera. So with that being said, we're going to get to the man part. So this is not anything you haven't heard before, man. When you look at it, there are a lot of things that women can say about you. And I'm just going to go over a few that are just, popular things that you absolutely have seen said about somebody before. The first I'm going to go over, because we already mentioned it, is that you have an incurable STD. That is one thing that women will say, and they will put that on you and stuff like that. I'm not going to lie. That's not something that happens often, because in most of the cases that I'm talking about, as far as reputation destruction, chicks are only going to, get this deep as far as trying to destroy somebody's reputation when they feel hurt by the man. That's typically when this happens. It's coming from a place of hurt. And typically, they're fucking that guy. So why would you come out and say you got an STD? The man's been fucking you, so you must have it too. So that's damaging to them. So that's not one you're going to see often. One that you will see often is that a man is gay. That a man is gay. Let me say that a third time. That a man is gay. And this is the thing about these allegations. In some cases, they're actually true. And I'm just being honest. I'm not no dude who just gonna come in here biased. Oh, women are always wrong. No. I remember when Superhead, an absolutely deplorable woman, used to be with Eddie Winslow from Family Matters. This happened in like the early 2010s. She broke up with him, and she was saying, come back and get your butt plugs, you little freak. You be liking me to play with your butt. You're gay, all this stuff. And it's like, why would I believe a woman like this she's really a clout thirsty animal if we just gonna keep it all the way 1,000? Well, come to present day, Eddie Winslow is messing with trannies openly. So I don't have an issue with any of that. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But I can't remember if he denied it or not, but I didn't believe it, because women do this a lot, and they will just flat out lie about a guy because they are hurt. And make no mistake, her making that video came from a hurt place. Her putting that information out there came from her trying to damage his reputation. So listen, sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. But the thing is, it could happen to you. It could happen to you. So with that being said, that's another thing that they do. Now, I'm not going to get deep on this one, but I'll just say it like this. When it came to the Me Too era, There were definitely some people embellishing, some people lying, and these are facts. Because if we look at Cosby, I believe he did, like, he has way too many allegations. Of course, I believe he did what he did to whatever extent. But there was one case where somebody was trying to get some money. They said he was at a Playboy party or whatever. Him and his lawyer found a date at that Playboy party, and he had a whole different alibi. He was never there at the party that she mentioned. So that was a flat out lie. Same with the Morgan Freeman stuff. Somebody was trying to say they were trying to put some allegations on Morgan Freeman and basically say that he was a creep, but he really didn't do nothing, especially to the chick who was on the news saying that he was like, oh, just trying to really get him canceled and stuff like that. Now, I just mentioned that to mention that was a huge witch hunt. Now, I'm not saying that the whole purpose of that was to just, it was coming from a hurt place and they were trying to obliterate men or attack men or nothing like that. Because there were definitely a lot of real predators that they caught up with that. But the reason that I mention that is because you will have some women who will try and do the Morgan Freeman thing, which is basically paint a bad picture of you as an abuser, a creep, a deviant, something along those lines. Another example I'll give is a woman who claimed, the OTF, affiliate Duty Low, bald head young dude, that he did something to her child. That was false. You can go and look into the story, but basically she apologized for making the allegations against him. And then on top of that, he sued her for 11 million and won. Because it was a heinous false allegation. And she was a hurt ex-girlfriend. And he was famous. So please go look up the Duty Low story when you get a chance. So those are most of the most prevalent ways that women will try and destroy a man's reputation. Hopefully you never have to deal with anything like that, but I am going to be honest and real about some ways that I personally scream for this. Because again, I'm a black man, so I'm going to just lay the first one out. I don't really believe in the fetishizing fetish shit or nothing like that as far as like black men and white women and stuff like that. But this is the thing. If she doesn't really like black people, if it's strictly a sex thing, if there is any indication that she would be ashamed to introduce me to her parents or anything like that, this is somebody that I don't ever want to fuck with, nonetheless, go public with, nonetheless, pursue something with, or just anything. I don't want to be involved with you. And the reason that that's important to me, from my observations and things like that, the first thing you got to look at is there are a lot of guys who are football players and stuff like that. You can go and look these stories up, who have been accused of XYZ fake allegations, and they have been sentenced. And then the chick comes out and says, oh man, I was just, whatever. I was lying. The guy goes. This doesn't even happen to just black guys. This happens to white guys as well. But guess what? It's by the same types of chicks, man. I'm not going to go deep on that. I'm not going to get too deep on that with you. But when I say the same types of girls, these chicks be at colleges and stuff like that. These would be a lot of college chicks, and they, this is the first exposure that they then got to some black dudes, and they want to get the mandingo and all of that stuff. So when you got white women like that, that is typically, once I identify that, I try to avoid that. But this is the other thing about some white women. Some white people have been exposed to a lot of black people. Some of them actually have black female friends. They actually like black people. Some of them even be on a fucking freedom fighter, Rosa Parks march ass shit, So when it comes to that, okay, I could see this is somebody who I'm not going to have too many issues with when it comes down to something like that. And I don't think she would do that, knowing how a lot of, she's got to be real, those women have destroyed black guys with fake allegations. And let me just end that with this. Emmett Till did happen. And a white woman made that happen. So let's just get that out the way. So boom. That's the first one. And in this space, you're not going to have a lot of people give it to you like that. Most of these guys that you see that are black, they just never going to talk about the truth about anything like that. But let's continue. As far as the next thing, I would say somebody who is heavily invested in social media and puts all of their life on social media, all their personal information. You know everything that's going on with this woman. Because guess what? When you start messing with her, she is going to put her relationship, all the good and all the bad, on the internet. If you guys are having problems in paradise, guess what? She's going to let the internet know that it's not paradise. And this is the thing. You could also look at women who argue with women on social media and beef on social media and just all of that type of stuff. Because this is what it comes down to. If she is comfortable if she is ingrained in social media to where she posts every day and posts her personal life and all that stuff, that's one thing. If she actually is getting in arguments and then putting sensitive information about her personal life and your relationship on the internet, that's another thing. When it comes time to break up or whatever situation you have, whether you just cheat on her or whatever you do, or even in some cases she cheat on you, you leave and she don't be ready for you to leave. Now she's going to go to the internet with the lies and it's going to begin to pile up. Or even if it's not lies, she's going to try to destroy your reputation. That's going to be the intention. Most reputation destruction happens on the internet. So if you look at somebody and somebody has no social media as far as a chick, that you could say that's a red flag because it's 2024 and like what chick doesn't have it? But that could be a plus. It could be a plus. You got to evaluate that yourself and find more flags or whatever the case may be there. Do your due diligence. But if she is heavily ingrained in social media and she does everything that I mentioned, then that's a problem. Because at the end of the day, when shit hits the fan, she is going to be shitting on you online. And the last thing I look for, and this is very real, is a woman that is actually fucking soft. A soft woman. Somebody who is not fucking aggressive. Somebody who is not very confrontational and always, or even just, because this is the thing. I told somebody this, and this is just real shit. I don't like a woman that I can't tame. And that may sound funny. That may sound, oh man, you're fucking animalizing women. Like, this is what it is. These types of things are typically going to show before you get into a relationship. So I'll give you a couple examples. If I'm working with a chick and this is my first time interacting with a chick and she pops off at me crazy or something like that, I don't know nothing about you other than you went off on me or that you were very rude. And I am a stranger. So no matter what type of mending we have, no matter how fine the chick is, me personally, the way that I operate, I could never fuck with you. Because for you to set that type of tone and be comfortable with going off on a male stranger, no, this is once I put the dick on you, once I put it on you, and then now you want to go through my phone, you're going to be way worse to me, somebody that you're actually attached to now, than you would be to me as a stranger. And I didn't even get at you. I'm just saying some regular shit to you. And we in an environment that's not really that threatening. Like, if somebody's really trying to get at you. I done had that happen a couple times. And then the chicks then tried to get on me and shit like that. And I'm like, it ain't no way that I could put dick inside you. That's just me. But then on the other hand, when you have a woman who is like, you actually vibe with her, and this is just a regular woman. It don't even be no crazy shit like, okay, you feminine, and it's just like, all right, it's gonna work. And if I have to check some disrespect along the line, that's different than you disrespecting me out the gate or you going off the handle something crazy. Like, that's just what it is. So, that's the type of stuff that I look for, when I vet a chick and try and, prevent this type of shit. That's just what it is. Because it can happen to anybody. And even then, these chicks that I'm talking about, they could flip. It's not foolproof. But at the end of the day, if you fucking with a chick that express everything about her life through social media, how surprised can you be when she expresses her dissatisfaction with you on social media and then possibly even takes it a step further and starts lying about you on social media? How can you do that? If you're a black dude, how can you fuck with a chick who really don't fuck with niggas at all? She really don't fuck with black people at all. She just bought her first pair of Air Forces, beat the fuck out of them motherfuckers. And then when she get it, and even then, her dad don't want to fucking see you at all, dog. She know her dad don't want to see you, bro. Hey, man, it was a dude who had a Mormon girlfriend at a college, bro. And the chick lived in like fucking like some Montana ass city, bro, like in the sticks type shit. Hey, man, she took her boyfriend home because some of these chicks be aloof. She took her boyfriend home because they was in college, like a state away or something like that. He never came back. He never came back. He never came back. They never found him either, unfortunately. Rest in peace. But that's the type of shit that I be talking about, like that shit right there. So how could you expect, a person who, is aware of their family more than that chick and knows that her dad would disown her and she would be kicked? How do you, and don't get it twisted, there are some chicks who do get disowned as far as white girls and stuff like that, and they just go and create their life with the dude and et cetera, or whatever. But do you want to count on that? Do you want to count on that? So you got to know your situation. Then the last one, we'll recap it one more time. If you got a chick who is just out of line, out of bounds, she could really go off on somebody else real crazy. She could go off on you real crazy. You have a really unpleasant experience. If you were dealing with a chick who is not submissive, a chick that I say you can't tame or anything like that, just a real nasty, ugly attitude. You see a real ugly side of her, and nothing crazy brought that out. Just the fact that the shrimp was cold. She tore the whole fucking restaurant down. Just because the shrimp was cold. Yeah, you don't fuck with her, dog. Do not put dick inside her. So with that being said, I hope you got some game from this, all that good shit, man. Let me know your thoughts. I'm out.